coming to applications of queues, we will discuss three different applications, that is job scheduling, round robin scheduling, and the third application is priority queues, right? So coming to the first application, that is, let me go to the general applications or the real life applications of queues. And one thing you can observe in queues is, dear students, please remember that most of the applications of queues in computer science world, you will find it in the operating systems, right? Most of the time in computer science, you will find applications in the operating systems concepts only. Like you will have queue of processes. That means the operating system will maintain a queue for the processes, or else it may maintain a queue for IO requests. Like for example, you have some 4 different employees in an organization, and there is only one printer that is being shared by all these employees, right? For example, he is employee 1 and he is employee 2, employee 3 and employee 4. Assume that employee 1 has given the print job, later employee 2 has given, and later employee 3 and then employee 4, right? All these things will be kept inside a job queue or a process queue or IO request queue, right? It depends on the situation where you are using, but the queue concept is same. Whenever you have more number of things, and whenever you want to schedule them based upon some criteria, then what you have to do is you have to make all those things to be placed in some locations. That locations or that memory is nothing but the queue, right? So most of the applications in computer science you will find in the operating systems concept. But while coming to the real life examples, waiting in line, whenever you go to a movie, you want to buy a ticket, then you have to move into the queue. Okay, you cannot go to the front of the queue and you cannot take a ticket, right? Similarly, waiting on hold for tech support. For example, if you have called some customer care for BSNL or Airtel like that, then you will be getting announcements like this, like your call is important for us, you are in a queue, please wait, right? So whatever calls they receive, they will put it inside the queue and they will be served in a FIFO manner, right? That's the purpose of FIFO, that's the purpose of using the queue. Why? Because the queue operates in a FIFO manner. That means whoever comes first, he should be served first. Otherwise, that will be a problem for the real life example. So whoever comes first in the for the service, they will be served first, right? And in the waiting lists, right? For example, you take the railway reservation system. You find the, for example, you book the ticket and you find that the waiting list is 43. What does this 43 mean? That there are 42 people before you who needs the service. That means who are waiting for the confirmation purpose, right? So after these 42 people got confirmation, then only you will be serviced. That means then only you will get the confirmation. Otherwise, you won't get the confirmation. Similarly, bureaucracy. Bureaucracy is nothing but the government organizations. It is a general tendency that they will follow the bureaucracy. That means they will have the pending files, right? So for example, you move to the government office with a file and there are some 100 files pending over there. Your file will be kept at the end. Your file will be kept at the rear part, such that the first elements are the first files, the files that are preceding this last element or last file will be served first, and then you will get the chance of service, right? These are the real life examples that we come across. And coming to the applications related to computer science, as I told that most of the applications you will find in the operating systems concept. The job scheduling, like round robin algorithms, job scheduling makes use of the queues concept. Why? Because you have a lot of jobs to be serviced by the CPU. The jobs are executed on the central processing unit. Therefore, the CPU is the critical resource. But we have only one CPU. But there are different jobs to be executed. In such case, what you have to do is one person has to serve a lot of jobs, or one CPU has to service a lot of jobs. In such case, you will put all those jobs coming to you or coming to the CPU inside a queue, and whenever the CPU is vacant or whenever the CPU is available, then it will take one by one job, and then it will give the service, right? This is how the job scheduling works. Similarly, threads. The threads concept means one process is divided into number of threads, and those threads are again kept in a queue, which is serviced in a FIFO fashion, right? The accessing of shared resources. The example which I have given, the corporate example, where the 4 employees are there and there is a single printer that is shared by the 4 employees. That makes use of a queue concept, right? Similarly, multi-programming. If there are multiple programs that can reside in a single memory, all these things are kept in the queue, and then all those programs has to be serviced by the operating system in a FIFO fashion only. These are all these things are concepts related to, again, operating system only, OS. So queues have a lot of benefits in the operating system, right? So after completing these applications of queues, let me go to the explanation part of one application, that is job scheduling. So initially the front and rear pointer are initialized to -1. Here we have a queue with 4 elements, which is represented by Q0, Q1, Q2 and Q3, right? At this particular point, assume that job 1 has entered into the queue, so that should be placed in the first location, that is Q of 0 location. So if it is a first element that is to be inserted, then what you have to do, I told that this is not -1, you can implement it to -1, but you have to make both front and rear to point to 0. Therefore, both front and rear are pointing at this location, right? After that, in the second point, or assume that it is at 10 o'clock, and at 10:02, assume that another job J2 has been entering into the job queue. In such case, we have to increment the rear. We have to increment the rear such that it points to Q1, and J2 has to be inserted into Q1. Similarly, assume that at 10:05, another job J3 has entered into the queue. In such case, this is 0. You have to increment the rear such that it points to Q2, and J3 has to be inserted into Q2, right? Next, assume that at 10:10, job 1 has completed its execution. So it has to leave the queue. Why? Because after completion, the jobs has to leave the queue such that it will give some chance to the other jobs to enter into the queue, right? So at this particular point, it is removed. Therefore, what you have to do, you have to increment the front pointer. So it becomes 1, and rear is pointing to same thing. And assume that at the latter point, like 10:12, the job 2 has completed its execution. Therefore, it is removed from the queue, and then it is removed by just making the front pointer to increment like this, right? This is front. So this is how the job scheduling works. The normal operation of a queue is similar to that of operation of a job scheduling, right?